'Cause I'm yours to keep if you want to.
Alrighty, baby. Boom. We're live. Thanks for coming to do this, man.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, of course. Happy you're here.
We've been talking about this for a long time.
Yeah, we have.
One day, bro. Yeah, when I come out there.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Today's
Cool.
the day.
Perfect, man. Well, thanks for having me. Cheers.
Hey, cheers.
Some sake. Boom. Not tequila.
All right, let's jump right into it.
Word.
What's your full name?
It's in Spanish or English version, bro. Let's do
Give us
Spanish.
both.
Edgar Pedrosa Galvan.
Are you
Edgar.
named after anybody?
Not really, dude. My mom just picked out that name.
Yeah?
You know, and she loved it. So it was Edgar, and then because I'm adopted, you know, we'll get more into that later on. But the guy that basically my mom used, it's a good friend of hers, you know, rest in peace, he's passed. But it was Francisco Pedrosa, and that's where I got Pedrosa from.
Okay, cool.
And then Galvan just came from my mom.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Where were you
So,
born?
I was born Uruapan in Mexico.
Where's
that's
that?
a town.
Where's
It's
that
on
near?
the west coast.
Okay.
But it's about 6-8 hours south of Puerto Vallarta. I think most people that know that place,
Yeah.
you know that it's a little bit south. But most of the avocados that end up here in the U.S., bro, that's where they come from.
Okay,
Yeah, man.
cool. Where'd you grow up?
For the first 7 years, that's where I was in Mexico. But there's actually a town about 3 hours north called Jiquilpan, small little town, bro. And then, you know, came to the U.S. when I was 7. I turned 8 here. So it was 1997.
Cool.
Yeah.
You remember much from growing up in Mexico?
Oh, yeah.
What was it like?
Dude, crazy. Just cool, wild, you know. Just a lot of freedom. You
Yeah.
know, there was a lot of freedom just from what I can remember. But, you know, some people, you ask them, dude, do you remember? And then a lot of people say, no, I mean, I remember my childhood very much. But, dude, I can remember, like, every single detail.
Yeah?
I mean, dude, I got the craziest stories, bro, that I don't think I've ever even told you
Yeah.
out of all the years that we've known each other for. But my mom, she grew up, you know, very poor. So she left her hometown to take, you know, just to make enough money to take care of her family. And she went to the city. But anyway, she worked at these places. They're called palenques.
Okay.
And there were cockfighting rings. And in Mexico back in the 80s and the 90s, those were huge. So you would get a lot of the big artists, you know, the singers, you know, that's where they would go. So,
Crazy.
yeah, dude. So my mom would take me there, dude. And I remember the ladies, you know, Meg, you've been to Mexico, dude. So
Yeah.
down there in the bathrooms, there's always a lady there charging you for toilet paper. So the lady in the bathroom, bro, would take care of me while my mom was out there, you know, hustling. Especially she was like a bartender. And one day, dude, I was just running up and down the stairs and I fell and hit my head. And it was crazy, man. But it's crazy, all those memories that I have.
Yeah.
But it was wild, dude. It was me and my mom for a while.
Sure.
And then we came here and crazy times, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
What other, do you remember like things that you were doing when you were younger? Were you playing any kind of sports or anything like that? Or were you into any kind of books or comic books or anything like that when you were little?
No, dude, just being little.
Yeah.
I guess part of the few years that I was in Mexico, I do remember just soccer.
Okay.
You know, 'cause soccer was everywhere.
Sure.
So down there we were playing soccer. Every now and then you would see somebody with a skateboard, but it wasn't, you know, like big until
Yeah.
I came to the U.S.
Yeah.
You know, but that's when I picked up skateboarding here, and I was like, man, this is crazy. You
Yeah.
know, so it was so fun, dude. But that was later on.
Sure.
But yeah, man.
So what was your experience like or memories like when you moved here?
Oh, the first one, seeing snow.
Yeah.
That was
Where'd you
unreal.
move?
So first we were in Arizona
Okay.
for a few months. I think it was our 8 months that
Okay.
we were there. And then one of my mom's, I think it was her cousin, he was already living in Utah.
Okay.
You know, and he said, hey, you know, it's beautiful here. There's work. So we came here. And we got here at the beginning of March. And there
Okay.
was still snow. And those were the good years, you know, back in the day when there was so much snow.
Yeah.
But I remember just getting to Park City and I was just blown away, you know, because I'd never seen snow before. So that was a trip. It
Yeah.
was so unreal.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. So got here and just love that snow, and it was just something that I'd never seen before. So it was really a big trip for me.
Yeah.
So that was a really cool experience.
Were you already like at that point in time, like had you been studying English at all? Were you speaking English, or were you like when you first moved there, you were
it was
fully
just
Spanish?
the first, yeah. I mean, full on Spanish, bro. And then getting here, it was actually a while, bro, because my parents had to get documents back from Mexico, to enroll me in school here. So that took a little bit. So it was about, I think I was just chilling, bro, for like 2 months.
Okay.
So that's why I'm actually older than you, because I was actually held back
to that next year.
Yeah, dude, I was held back to like that next year. And I was like always one of the oldest ones in my class. And I remember I really wanted to get into soccer, and my mom tried to sign me up for it, but I was too old, for that, like that class, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So they couldn't sign me up, and I was so bummed, because I just wanted to and that just went through high school, just all my years in school without ever really playing any sports, which kind of sucked because I always wanted to.
Yeah.
But then it got to a point that I was like, forget it. I'm just going to skate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like really like the first sport at that point that you got into, was skating?
Yeah, skateboarding. And then I think it was 4th grade, and McPullen Elementary. So they had like a program that they would take kids snowboarding.
Oh, cool.
And I think it was, man, I cannot remember. Super sweet lady, dude. She got me all hooked up with like snowboard gear. It's like a rental. And dude, they took me up, and I was just like, dude, this is crazy. And then just fell in love with it. And then just started going. But back then you can get a season's pass for like $99, part of the school. Yeah. Which just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, I tell everybody about that. Like how spoiled we were to have like the $99 season pass and like the summer pass. And be able to go up during the summer and go mountain biking.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So that was a trip. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
Man, I miss those days.
Me too. I was like probably it was definitely one of my favorite chapters of my life.
Yeah. We can, now that we've gotten older, you're like, man, I want to go back, but one is just so expensive, as just to go back there and just ride. You know, it's just like, man, it's like a once a year, maybe once every twice a year. Yeah. So, yeah.
What kind of subjects did you like in school?
None.
Didn't like school at all?
No. It was just hard. School here, because it was just, I guess English, just trying to learn English. Because I was like, basically for like the first year, the ESL, that was one of the classes, but it was like most of the day, because they were really trying to get me, not just me, but other students, that were English was their second language. Yeah. They were really trying to get them, brought up to that level. Sure. So it was hard, because I would try, and it was just like, oh my gosh, so for those first, I think like the first year or two, there was the math and all that, but I think it was mostly just English, just trying to learn English. And, it was just, dude, W's. Did I say that right? Yeah. W. Mm-hmm. It was so hard for me to say that letter, bro. And it was just like always. And I was like, I just couldn't pronounce it, dude. But it's just a double U. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, bro? But I was just like, dude, why can't I say that? And, but I was always hanging out with the Latinos, and always speaking Spanish because it was easy. Yeah. But I knew that for me to get better, I had to really start like hanging out, with kids that spoke English. Yeah. For me to, really start learning that language. And so we ended up moving from these apartments to another apartments in Park City. And it was all white boys, dude. So playing tag and all that, like they didn't speak Spanish. So I was like, dude, I got to learn how to speak English. So like, I think really transitioning like that move, what was made me really and dude, at that age, I just started picking it up so fast, instead of just like in school. Yeah. So dude, that's what made it just like boom. But I still have a hard time, bro. Yeah. You can ask my wife about it, dude. She's still like, there's some words that I say here and there, that are just hard to still be like, did I say that right? Yeah. So sure. Yeah, man.
I mean, I have a problem with it too still, so.
Fucking Nick.
What was your first job?
Dude, the first job that I had. So I was really trying to get a job just to make some money, just on the side. But I was doing dishes, and I don't even think I was getting paid. I think I was just getting free smoothies, but it was not Booster Juice.
Or Jamba Juice.
Jamba Juice, bro, in Park City. And it was one of those summers. And that was like my first kind of like, I don't even think, like I said, I don't think I was making any money. I think the guys there, they were just hooking me up, you know, it was free, you know, and it was pina colada, bro. I love that, bro. They were just hooking me up and I was just so pumped. But I think like the first job, you know, that I was actually getting like a paycheck, it was Cold Stone ice cream. And that was a blast, dude.
Yeah.
You know, just making ice cream, bro. My paychecks were like $150. You know, I don't even know what I would spend it on, but I was just like, oh man, you know, makes you feel like a man.
Yeah.
You know, you'd come home, you know, with your paycheck, and I'm like, Mom, check it out. You know, you just got paid.
Yeah.
And my mom would just be like, all right, you know, keep it, you know, just save it. Of course, I wasn't saving it, dude. I was just blowing it. So,
Yeah.
But that was cool. Yeah, Cold Stones, man. Since then, dude, I think I've had like 30 jobs.
Yeah, let's run the list.
Dude. Oh, bro, I don't know if I can remember all of them.
Let's try.
And just for the record, dude, I don't think I got fired from any of them.
Yeah, I bet you
I
didn't.
think either I quit or something, but let's see. So Cold Stone's Ice Cream, Spencer's Smoking Grill in
Which
Park
is
City.
What? Let's go through a little bit more detail. Like, what did you do?
So
what kind of job? How long do you think you were there? What age?
I think that was my second job after that.
Okay.
And it was just a barbecue place. So, you know, barbecue sandwiches, ribs, all that stuff. So restaurant.
Were you cooking? Were you preparing?
No,
like it was
just
already...
preparing. Just like
Okay.
preparing. Yeah. So you had the chef in the back. It was almost like a Subway. You know, everything was already prepared and we would
Okay.
just make the sandwiches to go or whatever.
Sure.
And then from there, we went to TJ Maxx, bro. I was working at TJ Maxx and that was a blast. Just chilling in the back, folding clothes. Like
Okay.
I was just like, don't put me on the front. I don't want to be out there, you know. And then they put me in the register and I hated it. I was just like, dude, this sucks.
How old do
And-
you think you were when you were doing that job?
I think I was like 16, dude.
Okay.
16 or 17. TJ Maxx. And then from there, man, so many. I think I went to Maxwell's. So
Yeah.
then I was there, but I was doing everything there. But I was deliveries, pizza deliveries, bar back, server. I learned how to make pizzas, you know. And then construction. That one sucked. Dude, that one sucked. We were building a house in Promontory, and it was in the wintertime. And we were I think we were getting paid like $10, dude, you know, under the table. And it was just, we would just sit there in the car. And I was like, dude, I'm not getting out. You know, it was like 7 a.m. and it was
Yeah.
so cold. And I was just like, so that was I was 17 on that one. But that one really taught me how hard it is to really make more money.
Sure.
But then I realized that there's different ways of making more money. You know, there's two ways. I think there's one way of you use your body and then you can use your mind. But that one really taught me like, dude, this is labor, you know, and this is hard.
Yeah.
So I don't even think I lasted a year. I don't think I made it through the winter. Honestly, I think after like 4 months and that, I was like, dude, I'm done. You know, like,
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
out.
brutal one.
Yeah. Have you ever done anything like that, dude? Construction?
Yeah. Ty and I did construction in like the summer. I don't know if it was must have been my freshman year because Ty was, no, Ty was back from Switzerland too. So
Okay.
it could have been my sophomore year, but we were doing like all pretty much foundational stuff.
Yeah.
So like that was my first experience. Same thing. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't cold. So that was the only difference is like we did it in the summer,
Mm-hmm.
but I still remember that same feeling at like 6:30
Yeah.
being in the car. Like,
No
Fuck.
way. Yeah.
Like,
so that was
I don't want to get out of this
that was
car
the
and go
exact
do
same
this.
thing, dude. I was like, but I need to make money because I'm getting older, man. And I'm just like, I need the money, you know. And then it sucked, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get into that later on, dude. But it was just really hard for me to find jobs.
Yeah.
So that was like, it was like, okay, this is what I got. You know, I'm making this much money. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. You know, I'm cool. Like with this, I can survive for a little bit because, you know, no kids, no wife. So for me, I was like, all right, cool. I'm making $10 under the table.
Sure.
You know, like that was great. So yeah, man, that was wild times.
Yeah. Ty and I did that. And I remember like one of the houses we were working on was already like in a framing stage. And we were pretty much like cleanup crew, honestly, because neither of us had like a labor skill. So it was just kind of like, all right, we're just
clean
like
up.
showing up, helping wherever we can. Like the contractor for the day would just be like, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that.
Yeah.
Or like watching kind of like, you know, moving rebar, like cement pouring, getting the foundations going. And then the next house we worked on, we were running like the dirt compactors.
Okay.
Because we were building on like foundations that were soft.
Oh, for sure.
Fuck, man. Like, 8 hours, 9 hours a day, just running that fucking thing the whole time.
Believe it or not, even though you were just like cleanup crew or whatever.
Yeah.
But just being around the environment, how much you learned.
Oh yeah,
just about construction. Because you're asking like, hey, somebody would say, hey, go move that rebar, and you're like, well, what's the rebar? You know, this is it. So just from there, even in just 6 months, how much you learn.
Yeah, I loved it.
Just about
from that side. I love the learning aspect of it. I mean, I love that about any job. That's why I'm always fascinated. Even just talking about jobs with other people, like you feel like you can learn without having to physically do. You know, like you teach me shit all the time now, especially on our phone calls when you're talking about the work you're doing now. It's a whole different story. But that was cool even back then. You know, like I had no idea. I don't think most people do. Like to watch basically like a raw lot get cut into and how they pull all the dirt out and then what you have to do to make like the foundation of the house strong enough to build on. You know,
there's just so much that goes into it. But for me, honestly, I think house building means shelter. You know, everybody needs a house. Yeah. So my respect, because I'm in the industry, but my respect to all the guys, you know, it doesn't matter where it is, here in the U.S., Mexico, you know, other parts of the world, construction is hard.
For sure.
And the weather, whether it's snow or in the heat, like either one sucks. Yeah. You know, like, dude, the roofers, you know, like, oh man, I think anybody in construction, like, my respect, you know, because that is hard work.
For sure.
And just to make, you know, and there's good money in construction, but for the most part, you're a beginner. You know, you start off, and that's why so many people quit that industry, because obviously if you don't know much about it, you get started into it, and they're like, hey, we can only pay you this much because this is your knowledge. Yeah. And people are like, oh, okay, cool, man, I'll start. And then they do it for like 3 months, and they're like, dude, no way. You know, like, I'm good. But if they would just hold on, and I think that's something for everything in life. For sure. But if you just hold on and just hang on, you know, a year, 2 years, you know, I think framers, they start like $16, you know, $18 an hour. Yeah. Which is pretty good. Sure. And then, you know, in 3-4 years, if they're good, you know, they're making $26-27 an hour. Yeah. So it just, hold on, you know, hang on. Yeah. But that's one thing that I think we need in construction. We need more people to get into it because it's dying. Yeah. It's harder and harder to find people, man, in construction. Yeah, I bet. So, yeah, dude, it's one of those things, dude. We need more people to get into it.
So then from construction, what came after that?
So then I was like, dude, you know what? I can't do this. And I ended up bouncing, and I got into the restaurant. And, you know, I was like, okay, I can make some money. So that was 16, 17. So I'm going to actually back up because Maxwell's was after.
After construction?
It was after the construction, dude. And we ended up going in there. And I started as a busser. And then, dude, basically I could run the whole restaurant. The only position I never had there was a manager. Yeah. You know, but I did everything. I could jump in the back and make pizzas, make salads, make wings, make Philly cheesesteaks. And then I could also jump in the front, you know, and take care of the customers, you know, be a server, busser, you know. Bartending, obviously, I couldn't make all those drinks. I could just make you like your basic, you know, like a margarita or like vodka cran or something like that. So, and then I did that, delivered pizzas. That was fun. Delivering pizzas, dude. Dude, I got a story for you. So, bro, I get a delivery, and it's in Park City, and I get the address, dude. So, you know, pull up in my car, get out, and it's like a condominium place. So I get out, go up there with a pizza, and it was in the summertime. So this lady just had her screen. The door was open, and the screen was, you know, the screen door. Yeah. So she was watching TV, and I can see the back of the couch and her back. So I ring the doorbell, and she was naked. Swear to God. So it was an older lady, dude. So ring the doorbell, and she gets up, freaked out, you know, and she was like, oh, my God. I was at the wrong place. I was literally, bro, at the next, like, condo. But, dude, I got so scared, even though I didn't do anything wrong. You know, it's just like, dude, I'm sorry. I just rang the wrong doorbell. Yeah. But I figured the door was open. She was probably waiting for me. Yeah. But it was the wrong house, dude. It was so funny, dude. But that delivering pizzas, dude, that was crazy. That was a trip. Yeah, that was fun. Decent money, too. You know? But that was, I think, anybody at a high school should get one of those shops, dude, doing deliveries because they're fun. You know, you learn how to drive. You just put in a ton of miles in your car. So, sure. Did you ever do anything like that, bro?
No, I didn't ever have any kind of delivery jobs. I mean, the main things for me was like working at the chocolate factory. Yeah. Or working at Chester's and then doing construction. You know, those are like really like the main jobs. Or like even when I was younger, like I was bussing tables for the restaurants like that Neely had when I was like 10 years old. I just loved working.
No,
even
for
when
sure.
I was younger. Like I liked socializing, and like there was cool people. There were people from like Chile and like all these other places where I was like,
hanging
oh,
out.
I'm meeting these people. Like this is cool. You know, like I never met anybody like this before.
For sure.
You know?
But
even at 9, 10.
And you know, at that age, dude, you're just like, you're so pumped to drive. You're like, dude, I want to drive.
Yeah.
So like, dude, like as soon as they call, Edgar, there's a delivery. I'm like, hell yeah, bro. Like I'm gonna go out.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, dude, I hate driving. You know, like I don't want to drive. You know, but back then, dude, I was like, dude, deliveries, like hell yeah. I think I was making $3 per delivery. You know, plus the tip.
Yeah.
And in Park City, dude, the tips were always pretty badass. You know, $10, $15. And I was like, dude, I don't even want to go back to the restaurant. Just keep me out here delivering.
Yeah.
So then anyway, that ended. So then from Maxwell's, dude, I ran into a badass dude who I actually had met years back at Rob's house, dude. And I think you were at Rob's 18th birthday.
Shit, I don't actually know if I was.
I don't know if you were, but if you were, Rob's mom, Maria, she had Adam Brown, who is a G, so such a good dude. But she hired him to do sushi for Rob's 18th birthday. And just talking with him, I was like, dude, one day I'm going to come work for you. You know, of course it didn't happen. But I think that's what's crazy about this world, how I ran into him at the gym. And we started talking, and he was like, dude, I'm looking for a chef. And I was like, dude, I'm down. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and I think now that I think about it, it's how I ended up to where I am today because of all the people that I've met in my life.
Sure.
And I met Adam, and then I meeting him again, or running into him again, and then working for him. Then I became a chef. And then when I was rolling sushi, I met my boss now. Do you know what I'm saying? And here I am now with my new boss. So I think that's so cool. You know how certain people you meet across, somehow you end up just bumping. I don't know, man. It's a trip.
For sure.
But yeah, rolling sushi, that was another trip. That was really cool. I mean, I think now you see it more, but you know, you never really saw a lot of Mexicans rolling sushi.
Yeah.
And so that was a really cool job. Obviously, at first it was really hard. I think just like any other job, you know, if you don't know much about it, you know, you get into it, and they hand you a menu, and they're like, hey, you got to remember all of this. And you're just like, oh, cool. You know, all these roll sauces, types of fish. And you're like, damn, I got to do some homework.
Yeah.
But rolling sushi, dude, oh, bro, that was a trip. That was a cool job. And I love making sushi for you when you came in.
Yeah.
You know,
that was the best, dude.
You're picky, though, bro.
Yeah.
You're so picky, dude.
Yeah, always.
You're freaking salmon nigiris, dude, and like with a thin lemon, and then you want me to cut the part of the lemon out.
Yep.
I was like, damn it, here's Nick again. I got to make him some fucking sushi, dude. So, no, that was cool, man. That was definitely like my top like jobs. I got to meet a lot of cool people.
Yeah.
You know, bumping music all night, rolling sushi, dude, like eating sushi.
Yeah.
And cutting fish. So that was probably one of my top, like.
Yeah, you seemed like the happiest when you were doing that. Like,
dude.
As far as I know, like the new job I came in to visit you at over like all these years, that was always the one where I was like,
dude,
you're like in the zone.
So pumped, dude.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then when Whitney, she would be like, oh yeah, my husband's a sushi chef. I don't know why, but it just sounded so cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just felt so cool. I was like, oh, dude, I'm a sushi chef. Hell yeah. And, but that was really cool. You know, and I got to work in different restaurants in Park City. Yeah. I got the opportunity to work for a couple of chefs that were super nice to me, super good. And I learned a lot, man. I think sushi is I wouldn't say that the tradition, but it would be what's the word that I'm looking for? See, there goes my Spanish with my English, dude. Yeah. But just like I would say the Japanese tradition, you know, or the culture of Japanese food with sushi, it's really cool. And yeah, man, there was one guy that I remember, he walked in and he was like on the phone. We were just opened up, and he saw, because all the chefs were white, you know, than me. And I remember he told his wife, I think it was his wife that he was talking to, and he goes, you're not going to believe there's not one Japanese chef in here. And we were just kind of like, what? You know, but I think a lot of Japanese chefs would basically be like, yeah, man, I think, you know, that's their culture. Yeah. So sushi, so when you walk into a restaurant and, you know, sushi, I think you just kind of walk in there and you're like, oh, it's going to be some, you know, Japanese sushi chefs, not to be like a stereotype, but I think that's what you see. So when you walk in, you see a bunch of white sushi chefs and a Mexican, you know, you're just kind of like, whoa, you know, what kind of sushi they're making here. Yeah. So, no, but that was a really cool job. So I appreciate that support, bro. You coming in and
Yeah.
letting me make sushi for you, dude.
Yeah, of course, man.
Hell
That was
yeah.
great. Then what came after sushi?
So then after sushi, man, I met my boss now, Preston Campbell, who's a badass. You know, he takes really good care of me. Super smart dude. And it's construction. So at the time that he was coming in, he would always sit at the bar. And at that time, I was working in our basement, you know, because it wasn't finished. So him being in construction, we would talk about material and all that stuff. And he would say, hey, you know, there's always some material that's left over from, you know, some jobs. If you need something, let me know. I think I can help you find it. And we started talking. Long story short, dude, one day he was like, hey, what do you see yourself doing in the next 5 years? And I was like, you know what, man, I think construction is really cool. I would love, if you ever get an opening, let me know, man. I think I would love to come work for you. Long story short, dude, within like 2 months, he calls me, and I couldn't believe it. He was like, hey, you know, I'm looking for somebody to come work for me. Do you want to come work for me? And I'm like, done. I can always go back to rolling sushi, bro. You know, I can always go back. So for me, I've always been just opportunities, dude. And that one came knocking. Yeah. And it's a stressful job, but I love it, you know. So
what was it like when you first got started?
Dude, scary, you know, because it's not your typical houses, you know, that you're working with. They're custom built, you know, really nice houses with elevators and a lot of detail. And when he brought me in, you know, he took me around and he showed me the first house, and it was like a 12,000 square foot house. And I was just like, bro, I don't know about this. Are you sure? You know, and yeah. You know, I brought you in, you know, you're going to learn just, and it goes back to what I was talking about earlier, that you have to give yourself that opportunity to learn. Yeah. Because I think a lot of people in anything in life, you know, they try for a couple of months and you know, they don't like it, or they get scared, or it's stressful and they quit. And I'm not saying that I'm successful, but I've learned a lot. And there was a lot of times where I would tell Whitney, my wife, that I would say, hey, I'm done, you know, and she would say, oh, you know, you sure? But I've never been a quitter, you know, and I was like, I'm going to hang in there one more year. Now I'm 4 years in, and the amount of knowledge, dude, that I've learned just working there. Yeah. That I'm like, okay, in another 4 years, can you imagine how much more I'll know? You know, another 5 years. So it's really cool to give yourself, I think, that opportunity to give yourself a chance to learn. Sure. So I think that's super cool. I mean, look at you, bro. I remember when you first started with the studio, you know, you didn't know too much, you know, you're kind of messing around with the beats and all that. And now I see you working up there, dude. I'm just like, dude, what a boss, you know? So respects to that, dude.
Hey, man, thanks.
Yeah, dude.
Well, what now? What about like some of the houses that you're building now? How's like your responsibilities changed, and what's like a day to day in the life right now?
You have more responsibility. As far as becoming a project manager for these houses, it's a lot of work, And even though my boss introduces me as a project manager, I think there's still a lot for me to learn to become a project manager. You know, you go to budgets, you know, numbers. You really have to learn learn and know the market, you know, for the prices of sheetrock, you know, tile, you know, what is the price of labor per square foot. And just basically, it's a hard job because you got to know a little bit about everything. Sure. And you've heard that saying, you know, a man of all trades is a master of none. I think in construction, when you're a supervisor, it's a good thing to know a little bit about everything. Yeah. Because you don't need to be an expert on plumbing. You don't need to be an expert on electricity, but you just need to know a little bit about all of those things just to get by, you know, so you can kind of just make sure that everything is good, you know. But you basically, it's just your trust on these subs that, you know, they're doing their job. But it's hard. I guess the responsibility more now is for me. The next step is to become the project manager. You know what I'm saying? So I can actually take it to the next level of me doing, you know, the budget, you know, getting prices, all of that stuff. But mostly what I'm doing right now is just supervision, you know, so like job site supervision, schedule, you know, working on the subs, you know, who's going to be here, you know, what's the next move, basically just working on the schedule to build these houses on time and under budget. Yeah. But it's a tough one, dude. It's a hard job.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm sure. It's a lot to manage.
Oh, dude, it's a ton. Yeah. But it's cool. It's rewarding. when you finish the house, dude, the first house you finish, you're just like, whew, you know, it's like one of those breathers, bro, that you're just like, okay, cool, you know, and then hoping your boss will give you like a week off, you know, just to relax and chill after all that, you know, year and a half of work that you did. So yeah, dude, it's badass, man.
How many houses do you typically have going like at one time?
You know, when we first started, dude, it was 2. And I think that's the coolest thing about my boss, that he said, he's very honest. And he said, you know what, Edgar, right now we have enough work for 2 years. In the next 2 years, I could be looking for more work. And I said, that's okay. You know, that's fine. If it doesn't work out in 2 years, I'll go back to rolling sushi. And then we had everything that happened with, you know, COVID and all that. Nobody really saw that coming, and how many people would be moving to Park City area in Utah. So right now, dude, we have 6 homes, you know, so we ended up hiring more people.
Yeah.
And we have a few more coming up next year. So it's gotten crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work. And yeah, man, I wouldn't trade it right now.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
What were like even from like growing up to now, what are some like your favorite like hobbies, things you like to do outside of work?
Oh, dude, the gym.
Yeah.
I love working out. I love working out even though I'm skinny, you know, but still I think working out is like a lot of discipline. I think every day I try to work for that to be more disciplined in my daily life, as far as, you know, trying to eat better, you know, making better decisions. But working out is really cool. With some injuries that I've had, as you know, my back and then my knee, snowboarding just kind of out of the picture, you know, skateboarding, they're just dangerous, bro.
Yeah.
And, you know, I do want to live and do those things, but I found the gym. So I'm like, oh, dude, working out, bro, like just 1 hour a day to go and, you know, just get some stress out, just lifting heavy weights or just banging out push-ups, bro, or hitting the punch bag or whatever, dude. Like that is like, that's cool. I'm satisfied. You know, I think the kids take most of the energy, you know, and as you know, dude, I've been talking to you about working out for like the last 5 years, dude, that I'm like, oh, dude, make sure you bang out some push-ups, bro.
Yeah.
You know, because I think it takes a minute, but once you start like doing it, you start getting the pump. I think you kind of, I think some people fall in love with it. Some people might not, but it's hard, dude, regardless. You know, staying in shape is hard. Staying out of shape is hard.
Yeah.
So it's something that you just got to do something. I think just being lazy and just laying on the couch all day, dude, it's just, of course it's nice every now and then, but just some people that just do that every single day, it's hard, man. Not me. I'm a lively dude. You know this, bro. I'm just always pumped.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So what was it like when you had to go through the process of like getting your citizenship?
Oh, dude, that was hard, man.
How old were you when you first like started that process?
21.
Okay.
20. Yeah, dude. So I was older. And, you know, I know that's a subject, dude, that you've been a homie of mine for so long. And your parents have treated me like their own son, you know, and I'm so thankful for that, dude. But it is, becoming a U.S. citizen is really hard. I don't think it matters the nationality of whoever is from. Just that stepping stone to becoming a U.S. citizen is so hard. It's so hard, and everybody has a different case. For me, I was, you know, being here as a kid, that's what helped me out. But it was still it was a struggle. Yeah. And it was just so many years of like, is it gonna happen? Is it not gonna happen? And finally, you know, it did. It was a first step. You know, it's called Dreamers. It was passed by Obama. I think it was in June of 2016. I got to double check the date, dude. Don't quote me on those dates, but it was under Obama, and he was the one that passed that, and that was like the first step. But once I started looking into it, the amount of information that they require just for DACA was insane. That I didn't know. I was like, oh my gosh, where am I supposed to find this? So it took a lot, you know, and obviously a lot of help from my wife. And I don't know if you know Jacqueline Nava. She went to high school with us. Okay. But she helped me out a ton. So shout out to her if she sees this. Thank you, because she helped me out, you know, a lot. But that was the first step. And then after doing that, then it was just waiting. And because obviously I talked to a lot of kids in the Latino community, And some of them after 3 months, they were getting accepted after 6 months. And mine was like 9 months, 10 months in. And I was like, oh my gosh, dude, I don't know if this is going to go through, you know? And I was like, well, whatever, I tried, you know, I did all that work and just kind of just prayed, dude. And it happened, you know, I went through, got approved. And then during that process, you know, I got married with my wife, who she's a U.S. citizen. And then began the process through marriage of a U.S. citizen. And then from there, I mean, it was just a lot of detail, bro, but it was really hard and trying to find different routes, you know, and how to become a U.S. citizen. And Whitney, she's the one that found the lawyer that we got. And she was very honest. At first, I was skeptical. I was like, oh, dude, I don't know about her. But the reason I didn't really want her, and I've never told my wife about it, is because she was so honest. You know, she was like, Edgar, I don't know about your case. You know, and I think we walked out there and I was like, I don't like this lawyer. You know, because I think everybody wants to hear something that makes them feel good.
Sure.
And when somebody tells you an honest truth, even that hurts your feelings, I think it's in our nature to kind of just not like that person. I don't know if that makes sense to you. You're just kind of like, oh man, but she was being honest, you know? And, so went back, bro, and started doing some more research, and we ended up, she actually was the one that found this legitimate kind of way of going about it to apply through my wife, but I had to leave the country.
Okay.
And leaving the country, dude, was so hard because, you know, I had already established my life here in the U.S., dude, with my wife and my family, dude, kids. And yeah, man, went to my mom and I said, hey, mom, I got to leave the country. And of course she started crying, you know, and I was like, mom, don't cry because you're going to make me cry. And I had to bounce, bro. And my lawyer told me, she said, you know, Edgar, you coming back here is not 100% guaranteed. And, you know, that was just like, wow, you know, can you imagine, bro, leaving your family? But through that process, dude, it made me really appreciate all the Latinos that are here, not just from South America, but other parts of the world that are here that have left their families behind to provide for them, you know, to give them a better life because their own country couldn't, you know, they couldn't find the work or the means to provide for their family. So that was a scary day, you know, and I bounced and I didn't know, but, you know, just having my wife, just the support that she shows me, that she was like, I'm going with you, you know, and we're just like, what? I mean, listen, if something goes down, you got to stay here, you know, you got to take care of the kids. So, dude, that was a trip. That really was a scary situation, man.
Yeah, I bet.
But just seriously, man, just put all my thoughts and prayers on God. And I was like, hey, you know, if it happens, cool. If not, it is what it is. I'll figure something out. And came back, everything worked out. And then applied through my wife, through my spouse for citizenship. And I think it was like 6 months we applied for the residency because, you know, you first become a U.S. resident, you have a visa, a green card, and then you have that depending on how long you've been married for. It can be 3 or 5 years, and then from there you can apply for citizenship. But you can't get in trouble at all with the law, you know, or else they can just take all that away and get deported. So it's really hard. It really is hard to become a U.S. citizen. It's hard to become a U.S., you know, green card holder. But I'm blessed and I'm super pumped that it all worked through. And I know you've had a passport, dude, a U.S. passport since you were born, you know, but that's one of those things, bro, that you'll never know. That feeling, dude, when you get your passport, you're just like, you're just in awe.
Yeah.
You know, it's just crazy. So that was really cool. It was a really cool experience, man.
Yeah.
That I get to share with you. And your parents were a big part of it, dude. They helped me out a lot. So I'm so thankful for them, bro.
Yeah, man. That was a huge, I remember that, you know, the feeling of that was.
That was a trip. I always wanted to go to Mexico with you, you know, and I couldn't. Yeah. And you were like, oh, bro, go to Mexico. And I was like, damn, bro, have fun, dude. You know, eat some tacos, bro. Like, enjoy, you know, la familia down there, bro, because I knew I couldn't go. So now that we can go and we got the opportunity to go, dude, that was a blast, dude.
Yeah.
So it's been wow, man, 10 years since. It took about 8 years overall to get that to go through, dude. So that was crazy, man. Cheers to that, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Salute, man.
Well, shit, I feel like we pretty much ran.
Yeah, dude, we're good.
Ran through everything. We got to go try to drop by I think it's the Comedy Store, and try to get our tickets
See,
for
we
tonight.
can get some tickets, dude. Let's do it.
Cool.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for coming to do this.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, man.
Cool. What'd you think, babe?
I liked it.